Buenos días a todos. So, first of all, my talk is going to be in English. I want to thank Nico for the opportunity and for trusting me to come here and to share this with all of you. And I want to thank you for, I don't know, I felt a very amazing energy today when I came from Berlin to Madrid and I saw people interacting with you, a lot of followers, people I follow, people that follow me and that I admire, to have the opportunity to interact with all of you. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this talk. I'm trying to extend the first part till I have the magic is happening. Please. Thank you so much. So, knowledge as a product. Jose Ramon, I have something to share with you. It's in the next slide, probably in the second one, so I hope you understand me. So first of all, I want to thank my team for everything that they have shared with me during the last year. It's going to be 1 year since I joined Epic. This is a picture of last week. We celebrated the Player Support Summit in Cary, in North Carolina. I want to tell you that I have shared this talk with them last week, and something that I would value a lot from you is feedback. Because this talk was dedicated to specific roles that are not product managers. However, I want to call the attention of the product managers today. I was, and I still are, a lean startup lover. In my last talks, when I was talking about how to deliver products, product management, how to get organized, how to ensure focus on our goals, building and delivering experiments and solutions, how to measure the impact that we have in our customers, the business outcomes, and also how to learn from all of that, I was using the feedback loop of Lean Startup to try to explain how I wanted to do product every day a bit better. However, since I joined Epic and I started playing a different role, I discovered something different. I started spending my time not only developing features, but living what you see here. So when our players use the product, issues happen. This is what I call the unhappy path. And right now, I'm dealing with the unhappy path of everything that we are developing and managing. The point is that when the issues happen, our players need help. And the first thing that they do right now is to go to our website and try to find a solution. Sometimes they do not find that solution, and they may need more help, and they contact one of our agents via chat or email. And I like to say that whenever the website or one of our agents is fixing the problem, what we are doing is delivering product solutions. And when we handle more or less 15, 20,000 player issues per day, and this is the average, not when we are releasing a new product or when we have a mega sale, I like to say that what we have here is around 20,000 player stories we need to learn from. We measure a lot of things in our side of the product related to every single player issue. We know what are the player issues, in which part of the product they are happening. We know when the player is trying to look for help, what are the articles visited. We also know what's the solution that the agent applied. We know the time to read and resolve every single player issue was the player waiting time, which is super important because all the time our player is asking for help is time our player is not playing. And there is a strong impact on that. And we also know what's the cost of helping the player, because maybe there is something that we could do in the product to prevent this. Everything that we are learning here, first of all, is to try to develop high-performing agents. And right now I'm talking about 1,500 agents, more or less. Everything that we are learning, it's also used to try to develop self-help solutions. How can we prevent the player to contact an agent? How can we provide solutions before they need to find a human to interact with? But now is when I do believe that you need to play, or you could play, a very important role. We are learning to develop better player solutions. How can we use all of this to try to ensure that the product is reducing the unhappy paths that we need to handle? And if you visualize everything that we measure to apply the learning, I like to say that we need to learn to develop knowledge about our players, learning from every single interaction. And let me insist on this. We have a lot of information in our tickets, in our releases, in our metrics, but the only way to learn is by generating knowledge. How can you consolidate all of this information to generate knowledge that is going to improve our player experience? Let me go step by step into the details. Knowledge to develop high-performing agents. What do we do when we start seeing that our agents are handling issues? What we ask ourselves is, what's the player issue? Why did it happen? What's happening? What's the conversation between the player and the agent? What did the player try before? How did we solve it? How effective were we solving this problem? And there are several metrics that we take into account to analyze this part. First of all, it's one metric that for us is the most important one that is linked to our retention, getting game. As I mentioned before, when our player needs to contact us, it's not playing. That's a problem, because we don't know how much time that player is not playing. If it's not playing because of our business model, we may not be monetizing. Are we sure that after asking for help, the player is going to come back to the game? How this experience is going to affect the engagement in our product? We also take into account here the player waiting time, because since the player stopped playing, all the time that we need to resolve the issue is the player waiting time, and it's also linked to the agent resolution. What's the customer satisfaction? What did it happen after this interaction between the player and the player support? What was the effort of solving the issue? How much time the agent needed to solve this? And also, what's the cost of this? What's the cost of the company of having an operational system to support the products in this part? With this information, what we try to do is try to discover what we can do better. We try to optimize the solution the agent applied. What can we do differently? Can we reduce the time to apply the solution? Can we reduce the steps? What are the tools that the agent is using to try to apply the process? Can we develop new features in those tools? Can we simplify the need of some of the tools? Can we provide new tools to the agents in order to accelerate the decision-making time? And also, we use this information to keep developing the knowledge of our agents through training. We train our agents continuously in terms of solutions, because the solutions are alive. Every time that we are releasing something new in our products, all the solutions must be reviewed. Do we need to train our agents with new solutions, new tools, new skills that we discover that are necessary in the market because the product is evolving so fast? And we need to make sure that all the people that are developing, managing, and supporting the product is following the same velocity, because usually support is more reactive than proactive. Because when you develop products, you do not know what's going to happen till the product is live. And also, in this part of the learning, we have several open channels to try to be up to date on whatever our agents are discovering, because they are discovering a lot of issues that you don't know that they could happen. I want to share with you a real example of how we are developing knowledge for our agents. When we have a new game season launch, the first thing that we do is to make sure that the product specialist of this specific game is aware of the new product, the new player experience, the rollout plan, communications, whatever is going to happen, whatever the player is going to live while interacting with the new version. With that, we try to identify the unhappy path. What are all the things that could go wrong? What are all the potential issues that we may need to deal with? And I can tell you that we never find all of them. Players are quite good finding new issues that we did not expect. After that, we try to, first of all, provide solutions for our players. And everything that we have to support our players when they ask for help and they go to our website is something that we review to amend existing knowledge or create new articles that could help the player to solve the issue by himself or herself when this happens. We also take into account that every single potential issue could be handled by our agents, so we need to review all the knowledge base that our agents have in order to solve and execute the process with the new tools as soon as possible. What do we do after understanding what are the solutions that we want to release for those potential problems of the new product? A global training. So there are two very important things that our agents need to support a product. They are the front line. They are going to receive a chat and you don't know if the player is pissed off, is happy, but the player is there because something is not working as expected. So we train all our agents with two things. First of all, the new game, because they need to be aware of what's new in the business. They need to know what are the new changes in the process or the new processes that they may need to apply, and also they need to know what's the new content, the new solutions that we have delivered in the website, because the agents are not only solving the player issues, they are also helping the players to try to be autonomous when it's possible. Let's go for the next learning. With everything that we measure, we try to transform that information, every single player story, also into knowledge to develop the new self-help solutions. What does it mean? We want the players, when they need help, to solve their own issues autonomously. What we ask ourselves when this happens is, why did the player need to visit one of our articles? What's happening here? And things that we measure in our website is, for example, the articles the player visited, the articles that are triggering tickets, because sometimes you start visiting different articles, you navigate, and there is one when you think, okay, I cannot fix my problem, and in every single page that we have, there is a way to contact that human. And they open tickets for very specific articles that we try to investigate if we can do something better there. We also take into account the deflection. Does anyone know what deflection is? Okay. Deflection in our website is that the content and the solution is good enough to avoid the need of opening a ticket and needing a human. So if the deflection is high, it means that at least in the website, we are creating good content and self-service features to ensure that our players can solve the issues by themselves and they do not need to contact an agent. And again, getting game, because if the player needed to go to the website, he is not playing. So what does it happen after visiting our articles? How much time do they need to come back to start playing again? How many players do we lose after visiting one of our articles? What do we do to try to improve this part of the journey of the player? First of all, we discover self-service features. It's not only about having processes that you need to follow step by step. You also can develop a feature from there and put the process of the agent next to the player. So it could be a kind of widget that they follow step by step, and they can apply the changes by themselves. We can also optimize the search for solutions. We can also optimize the existing solutions that we have. We need to ensure that our agents are up to date on everything that is for the players, because again, the agents may not need to solve the issue, but helping the player to find the solution by themselves. And again, we need to make sure that we have open communication channels to capture feedback from everything that the player is interacting in our website. Another real example. This is something that we call self-service country change. Depending on the country where you are using our products and games, you are going to have different kind of business rules, the currency for the transactions, the type of games that you can see, the type of games that you can buy, the type of experiences that you are going to have inside our products. Before, whenever you were traveling or moving to a different place, or maybe you were not using your account for so many months and there is a new product that you want to enjoy, when the players needed to change the country, they had to contact an agent. They needed a human. However, what we did recently, a few months ago, is to allow the players to change the country by themselves. It's 3 or 4 steps that they can do by themselves. Even if we have that feature in the article, we keep allowing the player to contact us, as you can see at the bottom. Where you see the release is what happened after allowing and releasing this feature for the players. And there are 2 main benefits here. The first one, we reduce almost 50% of the tickets that need to open for our agents. But the most important value is that whenever there is a new release, a new game, a new sale, a lot of players are coming to do changes in their accounts. And that's creating the spike, that is that peak that you can see there in the graph. When you have that and you have hundreds, thousands of tickets, there is an extra cost that you need to take into account, that is the staffing of the customer care, of our player support. We need more people if we want to make sure that the player waiting time is going to be low, because we care about the time our player is waiting, because as I told you before, it's linked to the getting game. This change is something that we were able to do by ourselves in the self-help side, and nowadays it's allowing us to have agents focus on real manual operations that they must do. And now let's go to the last one. We want to learn from every single interaction we have with our players to develop knowledge, to create knowledge, to develop better player experiences in the product. We do believe that we can prevent player issues, and everything that we are gathering are pains or needs or whatever you want to call it that could be part of your product discovery. Things that we know about the health of our products. The player issues we have in the product because we have a kind of list of issues according to the design of our products. So we know in which part of the product everything is happening. And when the features evolve in that part of the product, we can compare if we stop receiving player issues because of the evolution of the product. We can rank the player issues that we have per product that we support. We also know what is the tenure of the issues, what are the facts or the releases that are triggering new issues and creating those spikes that, as I said before, they have an increase in the player waiting time and also an impact on the staffing in the player support side. When we read the tickets, we can see the sentiment of the player. We can see the need, the feedback, the problem, the complaint. We can see what's the behavior that we are changing in the player and also that we are creating thanks to the interaction. And we also know what's the cost of handling these issues because there is something pending or missing in the product. What can we do with all this information? Maybe everything that we are learning could be feedback for your early MVPs. Maybe what we are receiving from the players could be something related to missing features. could be bugs on the existing features, or could be something that none of us expected, and we need to discover how to solve it in the product. In fact, the product specialists in the support area use all this information to try to identify how can we improve the player experience and where. Because sometimes it's better to have a human solving the problem because maybe we don't know what's the real solution. However, sometimes solutions could be mature enough to let the player solve it by themselves, but maybe considering the amount of times that our players are using the self-service features, it would be better to allow this experience in the product and to prevent the issue to happen again. Again, affecting player waiting time, retention, and putting at risk the getting game. These are the main two artifacts that our product specialists are using to generate these conversations. We have a product dashboard that is public and shared with the entire company. We also create a monthly report that is transparent and that we share with the entire company, and we use with our product development teams to generate these kind of conversations. And this is the part of the product dashboard the product report that we generate. We can visualize there per product the amount of issues, what's the impact of these issues versus the global volume of the issues that we have, and also what's the CSAT, what's the satisfaction of a player interacting with us when by default the interaction is not good because it's something that is not working. We visualize here different metrics, the tenure of different metrics, but what we want from the process specialist is to analyze the data, analyze the player stories to try to identify what are the main issues that we have in the product. What are the friction points? What are the player behaviors that are not the ones that we want in our experience? And also, what could be the next priorities to try to mitigate this, or to prevent it, or to develop a better player experience? The canvas that you see on the other side is the way they are managing opportunities to improve the player experience. And you see that there are different columns. The first column is the product prevention. What's the backlog? What do we have in progress? What did we do in order to optimize the existing product that we have to prevent issues from happening? Then they have a backlog to try to improve player deflection, that is to generate new self-service features or new solutions in our website that could prevent the player to need a human, and we try to also get in game faster. And the last one is, what can we do to improve the agent resolution? What our agents need to do differently or better to solve the issues they have to fix manually. And the last one is also because we have other problems to try to solve issues in our ecosystem. We could have problems with bottlenecks because we have dependencies with other teams, interactions, internal tools, internal issues, and they also try to optimize that. They also try to optimize all the operations to make this happen. And let me share the last real example with you. The knowledge that we use to develop better player experiences, this is a very simple feature that had a very huge impact. We have a creators program. They are the ones that are sharing content related to our games and products in YouTube or different streaming channels. Our creators have a code that they share, so people can put that code whenever they buy something, so the creator gets a fee, a commission. Before, whenever they wanted to change the code, they needed to contact an agent, directly open a chat. And what we did in the product was, okay, from now on, in the account parameters that you can configure by yourself, you will be able to change your code. It's a text field. And one button to save. Let's see what happens. And that was the drop after the release. That was something that our creators needed to change quite frequently. And since we provided that into the product, the need of going to the website disappear. So we developed this feature in the product. Our website is explaining how to use the feature of the product, and almost nothing is arriving to our agents, just edge cases that we do not allow because of different business rules. This is the power of using the knowledge of the interactions of our players when they contact support because they have pains, they have needs, and you have the opportunity to use that knowledge to create better products, so better player experiences or customer experiences. To close, I loved Lean Startup as a starting point to try to organize my teams and to have focus and to try to create a culture of delivering value continuously. However, whenever there is something new in the product and something is not working, we need to fix it. We need to deliver solutions. We need to measure what's happening and learn from that. And I want to say to my teams, and what I want to believe is that everything that is happening to our players, it's information that we can use as knowledge. And that knowledge that is alive and changing continuously, it's going to be our product. And if we take care of it, we can share it with our product development teams and to create the real player feedback loop. Thank you so much.